Here's a story no one asked me to tell, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Imagine this. There was a girl in the 1970s who lived in a New Orleans apartment in the French Quarter who needed a job. So she saw an ad in the newspaper for a job as a tour guide at a small museum, and she thought, wow, that's perfect. That's walking distance, I can go there. So she goes, she gets the job. They told her, now we have a training that's going to be going on, and so you need to come to the training like a dress rehearsal. So they were dressed for the time of when that house was really in action with people living there. And it was called the Beauregard Keys House. She had no problem wearing the costume. It was kind of fun, in New Orleans especially. She goes the night of the dress rehearsal, stands across the street for a few minutes, just kind of looking at the Beauregard Keys House, trying to imagine in her mind what it would have been like to live during that time. She crosses the street, and there's a big staircase. She goes up the staircase, and when you go there, and I've been there many times, there's a long hallway right down the center of that house, and then on either side are rooms, and to the right is a ballroom. So she could hear people back there, and she went, and sure enough, they had a training, and they practiced, and then they said, hey, in celebration of all our new tour guides, we're going to have a little party. Well, she thought to herself, that's the last thing I want to do. It's 8 o'clock. I mean, we have to be here early in the morning. I want to go practice. So she kind of just starts, going down the hallway and finds a little room in the front so she could practice what she was going to say the next day. She wanted to be perfect. Finally, she got a little tired, and she sat down on the sofa, and she said, I'm just going to kind of rest my eyes just a minute. When she opened her eyes, the whole house was black, pitch black. Except that she could hear something still from the ballroom that she had been in before, and she thought, oh, well, they're still here. Somebody must have just come and turned these lights out. So she gets up, and hallway's pitch black, but she still sees that little glow coming from the ballroom. She goes back to the ballroom, expecting to see everybody having cookies and tea, and what does she see but this horrific scene out of the Civil War with guns and soldiers screaming and blood everywhere and bandages, and she didn't know what to make of it. Was this part of the training? Did they have some kind of reenactment that they do? And this was the second group that came in to practice it. And not knowing what to do and not knowing what she was saying, she, of course, ran out of the house, went home. She came the next morning and asked, hey, was there some type of reenactment going on? She asked that to one of the other tour guides. He said, no, we all left around 8:30. And she's, well, I had gone in the other room, and I woke up at 10, and there was some kind of crazy Civil War thing going on in here. He says, no. There was nothing. We turned off all the lights and left. So she knew then, like we've all been in that situation before, okay, I better just keep this to myself, because they said in the training, no matter what, don't tell people that it's haunted. So the first guy that she's touring, him and his wife, around the house, what does he ask? I've heard this place is haunted. Do you think it's haunted? No, sir. No, it's not haunted. But the Beauregard Keys House has lots of people who have been neighbors or even just walking down the street that have heard the exact same thing that she has. Other people have heard a party going on, which is supposed to be a story from Beauregard and his wife of a party that never happened. Gunshots from another family that apparently were invaded from by the mafia, and they wound up killing the mafia. All kind of unrest at this house. But for this girl, on this night, she saw, not just heard, the real deal. at 1113 Charter Street, they say, if you're walking down the street as a visitor or you live here and you call the police and say something's going on, they're not coming. Have a good day.